Hey guys, welcome to week 4 of our challenge. Um, up to this point, we haven't done a whole lot, really. We've played around with food prepping, and we've focused on trying to hit a protein range. But for the most part, that really is all we focus on is just trying to get the protein in each meal, ultimately leading to our daily goal. If at this point you feel like not much has happened, that's okay. We're still learning this method and how we can use it. Um, what I think you judge yourself on right now is, do I have 2 to 3 protein sources that I can get into my day um, to help me reach my goal? And am I trying to find more things that work? You're not going to have this figured out today. At the end of the 6 weeks, you're probably still not going to have it figured out. But you are going to have the understanding that it's just a matter of just continuing to try to find things that fit into your life when we're talking about these food things and how they work for you. If you have 2 to 3 proteins figured out, you're eating those on a regular basis, keep doing that. We're going to add to that. If you don't, you still have time. Keep working on it. Keep finding things that work for you. Thinking about what we're going to move into now this week, we're trying to figure out now what else to pair with our protein. I'm not sure what you've been eating with your protein right now. Doesn't matter. We're going to just learn how to refine this. In the email, I'm going to have included in that a total calories that I think you should be shooting for the most part. If your goal is weight loss, if your goal is to maintain, we'll have those numbers in there too. So I'll kind of give you both numbers so that you can kind of figure out what you should be shooting for. You already have your protein goal. So what we're going to do is now fill in the remaining calories however you desire. But hopefully as you go through this process, it'll be more whole foods as you go. It doesn't matter to me what you choose in terms of, a higher fat, lower carb, or higher carb, lower fat. That really is irrelevant to me. And I think that's why I like this way of eating, is if we can get the protein figured out and find the base of our plate, everything else can kind of be filled in as you need. You don't even necessarily have to be, low carb, high fat, or higher fat, lower carb, or higher carb, lower fat. It doesn't matter which way you do this, because there really is no right or wrong in my eyes. It could be a day-to-day thing. Maybe one day I'm higher in carbs, maybe another day I'm higher in fat. We just got to make sure that we're accounting then for, if I'm going to be higher carb one day, I've got to have a lower fat. I'm not going to eat my high carb day with a day that I'm eating a big ribeye steak that has a ton of fat in it, or chicken thighs that have a lot of fat in there. I don't have a way to offset the intake. Those may be days where I'm eating something a little less fatty, a little more lean, like maybe chicken breast as opposed to chicken thigh, okay? And I try to pair those things out and kind of see how those numbers play. But again, you're gonna learn this as you go. But what you can really think about as you're going through this is take a look at the plate handout that I gave you, and just kind of look at how that represents a more balanced approach and then a more low fat approach, and just watch what happens to your plate in terms of having to move those carbs or get rid of those carbs from your starchy food. I think that's how they label it in here. Yeah, starch. So your potatoes, beans, whole grains, probably your rice, things like that. We're just going to lower those. Okay, so take a look at that and just kind of get a visual representation of what it looks like to alter one in favor of another. Okay, I take one down, the other one can go up. As long as we're accounting for those calories, you'll be okay. Also included in the email, there are some shopping lists where we're looking at more of what are our smart carbs. So these are the things that if you ate off this list and you controlled for the calories, I think you'll be successful. Same thing, fruits, vegetables, all on the list, as well as the fats and things that would be recommended to be in a diet like this. You're gonna have those shopping lists. Again, just like with the protein, find a couple things that work for you, take them home, cook those things, pair those with your protein, and now you have a complete meal. If you remember, I sent you that modular meal handout last week. Now we're just filling out more of those blocks. We had our lean protein on there, 1, 2, 3. Maybe you didn't fill out your vegetables or your fats yet, so we can start to plug those things in there. And okay, now we have 3 to 5 vegetables to choose from. I have 2 or 3 of my starches that I can choose from. Let's pair those with a protein that I've already got figured out. That's our plate. So you can use that modular meal one as well. Whatever one starts to help you build out the plate in its entirety. So your goal this week is just to figure out those other 2 sources, how to incorporate those in, which ones do I like, start adding those to your shopping list, because now, in addition to going to get your lean protein, you're also going to be shopping now for a few other things, the foods that are going to go with that. So another thing you can do is go back and look at your original food journal, your food log. And I asked you in week 1, hey, what can I replace some of these foods that aren't on the list? What can I replace those with? So start to find, okay, maybe I should get rid of the mac and cheese in favor of sweet potatoes. Okay, that's a slight improvement. That's slightly better. So can we replace that and maybe give that a try this week? So now we're improving upon those meals that we found, that we tracked originally. So take the good out of those. Let's add to that. And just spend a week just focusing on some of these other things. Use the numbers that we provided. As always, if you have questions, if you have anything, you can shoot myself, Carly, a message. We'd like to get back to those within 24 hours, but a lot of times more frequently. So if you have a question on, hey, what do you think about this? How much? We can help you with some of that. Again, if you're using MyFitnessPal, you can track those things in there. If you're not, kind of think about this plate and how it lays out, and think, okay, if it's a more higher carb diet, then you're going to have that starch. Just start to build those out and make it look like the plate. If you don't have a food scale that you can measure with, or that nutrition information isn't right on the box. Continue trying to track those numbers. That's going to give you some freedom to learn, just how much is how much. Once you've got a good idea and you're sticking to, some of the same foods, you may not have to measure all the way through. But right now, let's try to replace some of those foods. We don't have to be perfect. You have a target. Questions, let us know. And let's get after week 4. Thanks, guys.